let viewers know again, the Crown results this week, it posted a $1 billion net loss on write-downs to zero in the United States. But the best parts of the business, Stephen Mayne, were at home, the Burswood and the casinos here.
Oh, Crown and Burswood are wonderful businesses. I mean, I think they bought Crown for about $1.7 billion a decade ago. It's at least doubled that. It would be worth $3.5–4 billion now. It just keeps on generating 10% a year, and they even got lucky with the high rollers. They made an extra $30 million basically because the high rollers had a run of bad luck at the baccarat tables. Burswood equally doing well, and that's the story of James Packer and Casinos now. It is a twin play of Australia and the two casinos in Macau, and I think Macau will come good for him over time. He's got a couple of great sites. City of Dreams is already performing very well. The Chinese growth will continue. The visa issues will be sorted out. So basically the big statement this week was that he admitted that North America was an absolute debacle. The joint venture with Macquarie in Canada, you know, he's written a lot off. The joint venture with the Aspinalls in the UK, losing money on his two casinos there, he's written that off. They never got the legislation they were hoping for. And several plays in the US, Las Vegas and elsewhere, also poor plays, highly geared, minority stakes. And he's written a lot off, and it's an incredible embarrassment to make so much money selling Channel 9 and the magazine business to private equity, and to basically blow the entire windfall on a ill-disciplined spending spree in North America. Will go down in one of the amazing chapters in Australian corporate history.
OK, so just to remind everyone, I mean, you and other commentators are saying that. Steve Bartholomew's in Business Spectator is also saying, you know, the money that he made selling essentially Channel 9 and ACP to CVC Asia in 2006, you know, gave him a massive war chest. He invested it in all these different gaming investments, particularly in North America and in Macau, but we haven't talked about Macau yet. But does it mean that this $1.44 billion of write-offs mean that they really have lost everything, or virtually everything, that they wagered in the United States, the UK and Canada?
Well, I mean, the Crown balance sheet now claims it's worth, I think, $3.43 billion, yet the market capitalisation is up closer to $5 billion. So clearly things like Crown are in the books at under the odds, and they may not end up losing the full $1.4 billion that they've written off. But a lot of these
they're holding on to those businesses, aren't they? And when as David said, when the economy returns, you know, they'll obviously improve.
Yeah, but there's operating issues, and then there's capital value. In the UK, I mean, they're losing money in an operating sense, so they're having to put money in every year and they keep losing. Canada, the casinos have been struggling, and in the US, things like the minority stake they took in Harrah's, I mean, that was a massively geared private equity style investment. That will be zero. They will not get money back from that. And even the cannery deal, they did a contract to pay $1.8 billion to buy this big cannery portfolio in the US, and then they had to renegotiate and basically dropped $200 or $300 million in the renegotiation. So there isn't an issue of cannery turning around, it going better. This is just money straight lost from bad deals. So look, he's blown more than $1 billion on this massive spending spree. He might recover $200, $300, $400, $500 million over time, but it is the biggest folly in the history of the Packer family, and it's one he'll bear for a long time. It's twice as bad as OneTel.
Gosh, that's saying something. But, Stephen, on the other hand, you were saying, I mean, just to, you know, if you can give me some clarification, I guess, of your view, you're saying the Crown investment initially obviously was a fantastic investment, and locally in Australia, Crown does extremely well, but this, you're calling it a folly, this huge investment, the splash of cash around when he got the money from selling 9 and ACP to CVC was a folly.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Look, James versus his father. I mean, James drove OneTel, they dropped $500 million. James did the big push for Crown and Burswood. They're up probably a couple of billion on those two. Beautifully timed exit from Channel 9 and ACP, you know, made a couple of billion there. The Packer fortune at the peak was worth more than $7 billion. I mean, he even sent an email to BRW a couple of years ago and said, I'm worth $7.25 billion. He gave them a very precise figure as they were putting the rich list together. Now he's down to between 3 and 4. So he has seen half his fortune disappear in this credit crash, and the biggest component of that has been the North American casino spree. So I think, you know, he's survived, he's worth 3 to 4 bill, but he's no longer the richest Australian, and he's learned a very big lesson about don't go out on an ill-disciplined spending spree.